It all started at the epicenter near Sendai, 230 miles northeast of Tokyo. Shockwaves that gave birth to a massive tsunami that started 35 minutes later, Saigai, the Japanese word for disaster.
It began as a sunny Friday, much like many others. But at 2:46 in the afternoon, without warning, the earthquake struck.
This is the diet session recorded earlier, right when the earthquake hit Tokyo.
At first, the people that I work with here in Tokyo, it was normal for them. And shortly after that, it started to get scary.
We are experiencing an earthquake. Oh,
building with terrifying intensity.
Everything is falling. Holy.
As the quake rumbled across the country, school children ran in fear. Shocked supermarket shoppers tried to stay on their feet. Airport travelers dodged falling debris. And a TV crew setting up for an interview was suddenly interrupted. In Sendai, the city closest to the epicenter, books flew from shelves. Debris from buildings crashed to the ground as pedestrians ran for cover.
Oh, God.
189 miles away in Tokyo, confusion and then panic.
Kind of scary. Oh, this building's swaying across over here. Oh, scary moment.
Below ground, an American working in Japan captures this dramatic video in the subway.
This was somebody taking you by two hands and just shaking you constantly for a good 3-4 minutes and just wasn't stopping. I was amazed how long this thing was going. It just did not want to stop.
All right, I'm gonna go under the desk.
The quake lasts 5 agonizing minutes.
When the earthquake hit at its strongest point, it was so significant that I couldn't stand up in my room. That's how much the building was moving at the height of the main quake that hit.
And leaves Japan's capital city incapacitated. Trains stop, power is cut to 4 million buildings, phones are out. Flights trying to land in Tokyo are diverted to U.S. military bases elsewhere in Japan. Buildings in Tokyo swayed back and forth for half an hour. As powerful aftershocks rock the island nation, news anchors wear helmets on television. But the disaster has only just begun. The quake unleashes 3 massive tsunami waves that hurtle toward the coast of Japan at speeds of up to 500 miles per hour.
In Sendai City, a tsunami reached as far as 10 kilometers inland.
For the people in the northern city of Sendai, still dazed from the quake, there was too little time to react.
A large part of the city has been struck, engulfed by this tsunami.
Huge boats are torn from their moorings and tossed into overpasses. Houses are crushed like kindling by the awesome power of the waves. And everything is smashed together into a deadly wall of debris that consumes everything in its path. As the wave streaks along the flat countryside, the CCTV cameras record the slow-motion swallowing of an entire airport. A bullet train filled with passengers and tourists traveling along the coast disappears, so far without a trace.
We are watching this incredible torrent of debris.
In the ocean, a huge whirlpool forms off the coast, a result of the ocean floor essentially cracking open, the water acting like it would as if a bathtub is draining, potentially sucking everything down to the ocean floor. Miyagi police report that a boat with 81 people on board is missing.
Please evacuate and take precautions.
Japan is the only country in the world with an early detection system for earthquakes. It worked well by all reports, sending warnings across the country and allowing some factories time to shut down. Still, an oil refinery explodes.
And that fire in an oil refinery
completely under control, a large inferno.
Perhaps most ominously, this nuclear plant on the coast of Fukushima is in a state of emergency when its backup generator fails, compromising its ability to keep its radioactive core cool. The reactor is only 170 miles northeast of Tokyo, even as Japan mobilizes a global realization that the giant wave is traveling east across the Pacific.
So we don't know the height of the waves if and when they hit these islands.
That is absolutely unbelievable. Here it comes again.
And other countries begin to brace for impact.
This is coming straight over the wall onto the main road.
In the hours before, Honolulu police prepare for the worst, evacuating tens of thousands of people near the beach. In Hawaii, a series of waves 7 feet tall hits just after 8 a.m. Eastern, but fortunately does little damage. Crescent City, California, hit by a tsunami back in 1964, had a hard day today as well. An 8-foot wave came in, destroying the city docks and piers, doing millions of dollars in damage. Similar scenes in Santa Cruz, but nothing like the scenes of devastation in Japan. Late today came word that the missing ferry boat and its 81 passengers had been found. Rescuers have arrived via helicopter. But for Japan, the long journey back has only just begun.
This woman who comes from Yokohama says she cannot reach her family and she's worried about them.
Overnight, tens of thousands of people slept on the street in 37-degree weather or huddled in shelters, contending with over 100 frightening aftershocks.
Aftershocks have been consistent. I have to easily say there's been over 30 throughout the day.
This morning, rescuers fan across the country as survivors emerge, and fresh scenes of devastation and tragic human loss. A bridge snapped in half, people perched atop a shattered apartment building. Amazingly, with its strict building codes, Japan came through with much less damage than other countries would have suffered.
And thank God for the way they build buildings here, because I may not be talking to you.
A cautionary tale for those other nations in the deadly ring of fire.
We're joined now by Akiko Fujita, our ABC News reporter in Tokyo. And now, Akiko, things have had some time. People have had some ability to get settled there through the day. What are you seeing?
Well, we're still seeing plenty of gridlock out here. You can see all the cars just jammed. We're seeing this on many roads as people try to head out towards the disaster zone. Traffic not so bad away from it. In Tokyo, we are starting to slowly get back to normal. Some train lines back up and running. We see the street lights working, power running, and water running as well. So things slowly starting to get back to normal out here, but obviously the hardest hit area up north, not the case.
Ya voy.